coldest winter the little town had seen in 20 years. The streets were buried in snow, and a biting wind whispered through the alleyways. On the edge of town, in a small, weathered house, lived 16-year-old Mira and her mother. Mira's eyes, though young, held a sorrow far beyond her years. Her father had died in a factory accident 2 years ago, plunging their lives into an unending winter. Her mother sewed clothes day and night, but the meager earnings were barely enough for food, let alone heating oil. Their only defense against the bitter cold was a small box of candles her father had left behind. Mira used to love the soft glow of candles. They reminded her of him. Now, they were a lifeline. One evening, as the snow fell relentlessly, Mira saw her mother's condition worsening. She was coughing, shivering uncontrollably, her face pale. The firewood was gone. There was no money left. Desperate, Mira searched every nook and cranny of their tiny home, hoping for a stray piece of wood, anything to burn. Finally, her search yielded one last candle. She held it as if it were the most precious jewel in the world. Her mother managed a weak smile. "Keep it safe, Mira," she whispered. "That candle will keep us alive tonight." Mira nodded, tears welling in her eyes. This was it. This was their last hope. As darkness fell, Mira lit the candle. Its tiny flame flickered, a fragile beacon against the encroaching cold. The light danced on the cracked walls, a lonely performer in a silent, freezing theater. Mira sat beside her mother, clutching her hand. "We'll be fine, Uma," she said, her voice strained but determined. "The snow will stop tomorrow. I'll find work. We'll get more food, more candles, everything." Her mother nodded, her eyelids heavy. "As long as this candle burns," she murmured, "there is hope." But as the night deepened, the storm outside intensified. The wind howled, forcing its way through the cracks in their home, threatening to extinguish their solitary flame. Mira cupped her hands around the candle, a human shield against the icy gusts. She whispered to the flame, a desperate prayer. "Don't go out. Please don't go out." The candle flickered violently but held on, staring into that tiny, defiant light. Mira felt a flicker of her father's presence, as if he were there, watching over them. But the night was long, and her mother's breathing grew faint and shallow. The candle had already melted halfway. Panic began to coil in Mira's stomach. What if it goes out before morning? What if the cold takes her, too? She looked around the room, her eyes darting in the dim light, searching for a miracle. There was nothing. She took off her own scarf, wrapped it tighter around her mother, and pulled her closer, sharing what little warmth she had left. All the while, her gaze remained fixed on the candle, that single point of light in a vast sea of darkness. Hours crawled by. The storm outside began to quiet, but the cold inside was now a physical, unbearable weight. The flame shrank, becoming a tiny blue spark trembling on the wick. Mira's hands were numb. She leaned in close, her breath a small cloud in the frigid air, and whispered, "Please stay alive, just until morning. Please." And then, it happened. The flame sputtered, danced one last time, and went out. The room was plunged into absolute darkness. Mira froze, her heart plummeting into a cold, empty void. She could hear her mother's shallow breaths, each one fainter than the last. She fumbled for the matchbox, her fingers stiff and clumsy, but it was empty. The wick was too short to relight anyway. Tears streamed down her cheeks, freezing as they fell. For the first time, she felt utterly and completely alone. The candle was gone. Hope was gone. But then, a soft, golden light seeped through the window. Mira turned, confused. The storm clouds, heavy and dark for so long, had begun to part. Moonlight, pure and silver, spilled into the room, illuminating the frost on the window pane and the tears on her face. The candle was gone, but the world outside was no longer dark. In that profound, silent moment, a realization washed over Mira. Hope isn't a candle that burns out. It's the light that finds its way to you, even after your flame has died. She gently took her mother's hand. "Uma, the light is back," she whispered, her voice filled with a newfound wonder. "Look, The sky is clearing. Her mother's eyes fluttered open. A genuine, tired smile touched her lips. You see, Mira, the light always returns. You just have to hold on long enough to see it. Morning arrived, crisp and brilliant. The storm had passed, leaving the world blanketed in a pristine, shimmering layer of snow. Mira stepped outside, the new day feeling like a fresh start. She walked to the town square, determined to find help. When she shared her story with the local baker, he was moved to tears. Word spread quickly. Soon, the community rallied around them. Neighbors arrived with food, firewood, and warm blankets. The baker's wife offered Myra's mother a steady job, one that would keep them warm for the rest of the winter. The story of the girl who kept the last candle burning became a local legend. People would stop by their little house, leaving candles on their doorstep as symbols of strength and hope. Years later, Mira became a teacher. She often shared the story of that night with her students the night her last candle went out, but her hope did not. She would tell them, sometimes in life, everything you rely on might fade away. Your plans, your strength, even your courage. But if you can just hold on to faith a little longer than you think you can, the light will always find its way back to you. On her desk, Mira kept the small, melted stub of wax from that fateful night. It was a humble reminder of her father, her mother, and the profound truth she learned in the darkness. That even the smallest light, protected with courage, can help you survive the darkest night. Because hope doesn't die when the candle goes out. It lives in the steadfast belief that a new day will dawn. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that inspires. Take care, and remember to always look for the light.